Before we start our meeting, we usually start with a prayer. Invite you to join if you wish. Mr. Thompson.
Father, we're grateful for your blessing on this school corporation and pray your continued blessing. Keep us safe from the cold and the snow and safe travels for students tomorrow. We're grateful for all that you do for us. Amen.
Thank you. Most important part and exciting part of our board meeting is recognition, and that's where we'll start this evening. So.
Mr. Wertz is definitely right. It is the most important part and definitely the most fun part of our night. We'd like to introduce, first of all, a student from the high school underneath the guiding principle of individual student growth. Each month, Central 9 selects students of the month who've gone above and beyond in their particular program areas. Please join us in congratulating Alexa Solman for representing Franklin Community Schools and Dental Careers.
I know she had a conflict last time, but she was going to try to make it, so hopefully she'll still come in. And yep.
We have 6 Custer Baker Intermediate School students that after auditioning were chosen to be in the 2016 Indiana All-State Elementary Honor Choir. This is the first time that we've had CBIS students nominated to this prestigious group. The girls were among approximately 100 students from all Indiana elementary schools who have been named to this elite choir. On January 15th, they were featured performers at the Indiana Music Educators Association State Teachers Conference at the Embassy Theater. Please come up, Ruthie Foraker, Marissa Hoban, Lauren Holcroft, Ava Ray, Gabby Sherry, Addie Willie, and their choir director, Mrs. Tara Bell.
Correct? Huh? Right there, right? Yeah. And Mrs. Bell. We have everybody scoot this way. Come on over. And our tradition is that we want you to introduce yourself. And if a parent or guardian or friend brought you, please introduce them like their name. Don't say, that's my mom or dad. So I'd say, that's my wife over there. You don't want to do that. So you would say, hi, that's Angie Clendenning, okay? All right. So you can begin.
My name is Adlin Willie, and the people who brought me was John Bassessi and my brother Aiden Willie.
Hi, my name is Gabby Sherry, and my mom, Alicia Sherry, brought me today.
Hi, I'm Lauren Holcroft, and both my parents, Christine and Kurt Holcroft, brought me.
Hi, I'm Ruthie Foraker, and my parents, Beth Foraker and Shelley Gardner, brought me today.
Hi, my name's Marissa Hoban, and my mom, Jenny Hoban, brought me today.
Well, I would like to congratulate you girls once again for a job well done. It is such a huge achievement to be nominated into this group. I couldn't have been more proud of how these girls represented our school, our community, and our music department while we were in Fort Wayne. I'm so proud of each one of you. Thanks for coming tonight. Thank you for bringing them, parents.
And now's a good time for a picture. We're all going to squeeze in here. So let's go to 2 rows. So the taller students in back, you scoot on it. There you go. And Mr. Wertz is going to get in here with us. All right. And you have one more performance, is that right, this weekend? Yes?
They'll be going to Greenwood Community High School to perform in a choral festival called Circle the State with Song.
That's great.
And our middle schoolers will attend as well.
Well, congratulations. That's great.
On the academic side of life, we wanted to recognize Ji Yang. She could not be here with us tonight, but she's a senior at Franklin Community High School who received a perfect score on the math section of the SAT. Pretty impressive. Underneath our guiding principle of leadership, we'd like to recognize B. Northcott. B has resigned her position for other opportunities. B has been and has served as the director of the Franklin Education Connection for the last 2 years, was very instrumental in the merging of the Franklin Study Buddy Group and the Franklin Community Foundation. And we are going to miss her greatly, but wish her the very best in your new journey.
You want to say anything?
I will continue to be an advocate for Franklin Education Connection and Franklin Community Schools because we have an award-winning school corporation, and I'm so proud to be here. Thank you.
Oh, we need to get a picture. Yes. Jeff, come on up. You're on the board as well. And Deb. If you're ever looking for a fun thing to do on a Wednesday night, Thursday night, what night is it? Wednesday, that's right. It's Wednesday nights. We have trivia. And Deb sponsored a team called Awkward Silence. And the reason is there's a long pause between answers. But we participate, and it's a lot of fun, and it goes to support the foundation. It's a small fee to play, so come on out for anybody who'd like to do that. All right, thank you. Congratulations. We appreciate all your help, B.
No offense to the teachers and administrators in the room, but this next group of people are my personal favorite. Last week was National School Counseling Week, and we are so blessed at Franklin Community Schools to have the best who go above and beyond for our children and our families every single day. So we'd like to recognize them tonight. Some couldn't make it. The roads got too bad. You had to travel north or south and then come back, but we'd still like to recognize them. Samantha Vidal from Creekside. Stephanie Dieter from Needham. Ellen Paris from Northwood.
We're going to have you guys line up right.
Sandra Brown from Union. Angie Clendenning from Webb. Is Carly here tonight?
Congratulations.
Okay, it's all right. We have Angie has an intern also this year. We're going to recognize her. Tammy Schneider from Custer Baker could not be here tonight. Is Jennifer here? Jennifer George from Custer Baker. Tina Tracy from Franklin Community Middle School.
Congratulations.
Monica Anderson from Franklin Community Middle School.
Congratulations.
From the high school, we have Jan Henderson and Wendy Ralston.
Congratulations.
And then Christy Williams and Casey Murphy could not be here tonight.
Thanks.
Thank you, school counselors.
And we did ask them to come with a homework assignment. They're going to quickly go down the row and give, this was on your email, so remember this. Yes, one activity that you do in your classroom or in your school that you like to highlight. So we'll start with Stephanie and walk all the way on. And I have to agree with Deb. I have one person favorite in this group right here.
I brought some visuals, but they're sitting on my seat, so I'll just kind of tell you about them. One of the things that I'm really proud of something that we've done at Needham, is a school-wide positive behavior support program. And it started out a year and a half long research with a committee, and we looked at the purpose and the reason why we should have a school-wide positive behavioral support program. And then we came up with all of these great things. But the bottom line is that students can earn purple tickets for being a STAR student, STAR with 3 R's, responsible, respectful, and ready to learn. And then they can cash in their tickets. So there are small prizes that students can do, like bring a hat, take off their shoes in the classroom, eat lunch with a friend, or there are bigger prizes like this month we're going to the art craft. We have movie day. We have just all different sorts of things, but it's a good reminder to kids and to focus on the positive throughout the day. So that's our STAR program.
Love it. It's cool. Well, one of the things that I really enjoy doing that I'm doing right now is just 6 weeks yoga club after school with first and second graders, and it is a hoot. Lord, they are so good, but that's not really day to day. So day to day, I would have to say one of the things that I really enjoy doing is morning bus arrival, getting to check in with the kids, get the hugs, see the wiggle teeth, hear about maybe a puppy was brought to the house or kid born. I don't know. They go on and on. Sometimes it's drying the tears too of a sad day to turn the day around and get it going straight. So I really enjoy that. And then also sending them off on their way and saying goodbye and getting hugs and making all those connections. That's the best part.
I agree with you, Ellen. Bus duty is the place where you get to see and talk to kids, and that's the most fun. But one of my things goes back to my roots as a school teacher, and that is getting to do guidance lessons every other week with my kids. So getting to be with every student in the building every other week. That's the best.
One of the things that I like to do at Webb is we have a career cafe, which is we start out by using an online career interest survey inventory with our third and fourth graders, and they take the test and it kind of explains what career cluster they might be most interested in. So then I take those results. Marissa, remember, she did one of those a long time ago at Union. So we take those results and we take a look and see what areas the students might like to learn more about. And then at least once a month, lately it's been more like twice a month, we invite a community member to come in and speak about that profession. So we've had Sandra's been and Cheryl's been our teachers before. A lot of you actually in this room have been in it before. We've had plumbers, lawyers, doctors, hairstylists. I don't think there's military, police. I don't think there's much we haven't had. And so it's a really neat chance for the kids to learn and ask about the training that they went through and what it's like to be that kind of a person. And then it's also neat for the community members to learn more about our school and our kids. So that's fun.
I guess I'm going to copy off Sandra a little bit. I'd say for me right now, my favorite part is the classroom guidance. We don't get the chance, especially the older the kids get, we don't get the chance to see everyone in their large group setting as much as we'd like to. And it's different than being in that role where kids are coming to you. You actually get to go out in their classroom. It's great to see their expression. It's great to learn about learning styles, study skills, something totally different than what you would normally think of in the role of a school counselor.
One of my favorite parts of my job is actually a mentoring program that we started this year with 8th graders that are, when they transition over to the high school, they are paired with a high school junior. And so when those students become freshmen, they will have a built-in mentor and a built-in buddy at the high school. So that's one thing that we started that we're really proud of.
One of my favorite things at the high school, because we don't get to see kids as much as elementary does. So, we see some kids periodically, but this time of year we get to see all the kids. So I'm really excited when we do the scheduling because we get to sit with the juniors, the sophomores, and the freshmen, and we went to the 8th grade. And we get to talk to the whole group. It's so much fun to talk to them about what they want to do, what kind of pathway do they still want to go on, where do they want to go to college. So I love this time of year.
One of my favorite things was the early in the year, like mid-September through October, we do senior meetings, and we actually schedule appointments with our seniors and their parents. We sit down with them one-on-one for about a half an hour. We go over financial planning, applying for college, or whatever their desire is to do after high school. It's really great to see the parents' pride, to see the kids get excited or scared to death. That's fun to watch too. And sometimes those meetings are about giving them the extra push that they didn't know they needed. So I really enjoy that as well. And I can speak for all the counselors at the high school. Another one of our favorite things is going to the middle school and getting to talk to the 8th graders and getting them excited about high school. So.
And I'll brag on one more thing the high school did this year. They went to C9 and did a shadow day. And it was the counselors that organized that. And the counselors, the admin team, Deb and I traveled up and went to class with a Franklin Community High School student, or if there was not a student in that class, with another student to learn more about the curricular offerings. And that was spearheaded over here. So we want to thank you for that. We have a great group of guidance counselors. Please give them a round of applause. And now's our photo op. So if we could get 2 rows, Deb, get in here. Principals, if you're in the audience, come on up with your with your counselor colleagues, and we will take one big picture here. We can all get in here. Wow. All right. Congratulations. Thank you.
Interesting fun fact, I was a former high school counselor for Franklin Schools, and two of my formers were actually standing up here. Isn't that exciting? I didn't realize that till you were both up here. I am old. Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you very much. Teachers, now you're my favorite group. Next, we'd like to recognize our schools who received a letter grade of an A. It's been really a crazy journey with the state and trying to figure out what a letter grade is really going to stand for this year. And we had two different pathways we could retrieve our letter grades. The first pathway was to show a great amount of growth from the old test to the new test. And we had one school in our district do that and earn their A that way. They went from, what was your letter grade last year? From a C to an A. That's what I thought. So Cheryl, I know you've got almost your whole staff here, so everyone to come up, and we'd like to recognize Webb Elementary for their letter grade of A.
We're going to all go over here, actually. We're going to meet in front of the projector. Yeah. Maybe we could kill. Let's see. Let's do that. All right, we're going to pass the mic to Mrs. Moran, and you can talk just a little bit about your journey and where you were able to see the most growth to help you propel your school district from a C to an A.
Well, I can't take any of the credit. I inherited these people last year, was honored to become their principal. Just a great group of thinkers and a great group of people who are dedicated to students and their growth. And our leadership team really looked at our data and where we were. And the biggest deficit we had in our building was in math. You know, our language arts is right on target across our district, and we've all shown growth in that. But math was an area that we really felt we need to move forward in. So we did some different things with our fit groups last year, and I even had a lunch group 2 times a week, and we really hit math kind of hard, and that's where we saw our biggest growth and where we got our most points for growth this year, which helped put us at an A. So I'm so proud of these people. They deserve all the credit.
All right, let's get a picture here. Deb, jump in this picture, Brian. Can you get all of us in? You can see everybody? All right, congratulations, Webb Elementary.
The second path the state allowed us to take was to keep our letter grade from last year. And by doing that, we had 6 other buildings earn the letter grades of A, and we'd like to recognize them at this time. Creekside, Needham, Northwood, Union, Custer Baker, and Franklin Community Middle School.
Northwood. Stephanie, any other Needham families here? Feel free to jump in. Yes. Yep. Yep. Union Elementary, CBIS, and the middle school. We're going to squeeze in, and I agree with Deb. We have great learning and great instruction going on in our district, in each of our buildings. And this year's test was a little bit crazy and what was going on, and it was truly a reflection of the hard work that we have been doing throughout. And so the A's that we received this year are worthy of the A. And our district also received an A. So congratulations to all of the faculty and administrators in that. So with that, we'll get one big picture. We'll kind of squeeze in. We may have to get 2 or 3 rows. We have representatives of every school, as well as some parents, which is great. And we'll get Deb jump in here and Mr. Wirtz. Can you get everybody? Yes, and in 2 days, you'll all receive your personalized banner to hang in your school. And then we'll do a ceremony like we have in the past, honoring all of the faculty in another reception. So congratulations and thank you very much. Mr. Wirtz and board members, that will conclude today's recognition. Did you unfreeze it? Unblank it? See if this will do this right here. There we go. Hi, Mr. Mashmeyer. How are you?
Here in one piece.
Oh my goodness, what the roads are getting crazy. Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. The first item on our agenda this evening is public and board comments. At this time, if there's anyone from the public that wishes to make a comment, please do so and state your name and limit to 2 minutes, please. Seeing none, any comments from the board or administration? All right. Thank you. We'll move on. Music Council update. We did not meet this past month. The only relevant piece of information was that the Color Guard preview happened this week, or this past week. They put on the production of Alice in Wonderland that was wonderful. And indoor drumline competition starts along with Color Guard competition starts here in the next week or so. That's it. Athletic Council.
I would say on the music that the Choral Booster Club is hosting. The,
oh, thank you. Yes.
Songfest.
Showfest.
Mm-hmm.
Showfest.
Yes, thank you.
Which is, I don't know how many schools are coming.
28 schools, I believe. 29.
29 schools. You can't hear me? Sorry. I don't know if that's any better. There you go. So from the athletic, excuse me, we did meet a week ago or so, and their spring sport kickoff event is coming up Tuesday, March 8th, which is they bring all of the spring sports in, the parents, and go through a lot of logistics. Heard real positive responses from the previous ones they've done. Talk a little bit about the Grizz Games updates, and that's still going well. Overall participation still climbing, and so I think Dr. Clendenning, I think there would be a request at some point in time to see which team that does the best overall for the Grizz Games, bring them in for board recognition. So would ask that you get with Mr. Regas later on this year and find out who wins.
Okay, we'll do that. Thank you.
And certainly to publicly thank the coaches that support this. It seems pretty obvious that the kids who go to support the other sports venues are the ones that are encouraged by their coach. So couple coaches openings, girls volleyball, and I think we have it on the, is that in the?
That is,
So we did solve that one.
yes.
And certainly hats off to Walt Raines, who ends a great career. 28 years, is that correct?
Yep. I think Sweet told me.
As head basketball coach for the girls, a phenomenal career. We've been real blessed to have him at the helm in that sport for many, many years. So if you see Mr. Raines, certainly congratulate him and thank him for his years of service. Talked about a couple other logistic items. I won't mention them here, but so we did have a real good meeting and moving forward on some other things. That's it.
Thank you. Legislative Council. Nothing to report. All right, Superintendent Strategic Task Force. I know that's later on our
Discussion
calendar.
items,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about that.
All right. Follow there. Communication Committee.
Well, Dr. Clendenning and I met with Robin Betts and to discuss like what the first 90 days of the community and public relations specialist position will look like. I have the presentation here if anybody'd like to look at it after the meeting. And her projects that Mrs. Betts is going to do will start as soon as her position in the Human Resources Department is filled and she gets to train that person. And then one other thing is the nomination forms for the FCHS Alumni Hall of Fame are available on the website. Those are due no later than March 31st.
Correct.
So hopefully we'll get lots of good nominees.
We had our first application turned in today.
Oh, good.
And then we had another one brought to us right before the board meeting. So please get those in if you know anyone that graduated from Franklin High School, Franklin Community High School. So it could be before the merger or anytime after that, obviously.
All right, thank you. Collective bargaining. I know we didn't meet. Any other updates?
We are getting ready to meet. We did form a committee looking at ECAs. Mr. Wallace and FCTA put together a group of teachers, and Mr. Hayden, Mr. Ahouse, and Mr. Regas will be reconvening again just to kind of look at our ECA activities and how they compare with our peer group. We have a meeting coming up on February 25th, I believe it is, with our insurance, JA Benefits, Doug Johnson. So Bill and his group will meet with Jeff and myself looking at insurance as we move forward in 2016 and 17.
All right, thank you. Central 9.
I've got a pile of resumes to go through for the new director. But on another note, advanced manufacturing, every one of our meetings, we have a presentation from one of the different programs. And advanced manufacturing this year built 2 go-karts. And they're racing now in a high school Grand Prix circuit. And these aren't the little go-karts like last year they built like a souped up golf cart. These are on the frame like they race up at Purdue at the Grand Prix. And all the different organizations get a pitch in, the graphics, design, and the precision manufacturing, welding, all the different programs in the school pitch in. So I'm anxious to see how they do. They raise their own money for the go-karts. It's kind of a cool program this year. So I thought I'd mention it. Kids are interested in that. The advanced manufacturing program does that at CNI.
Very good, thank you. RDC, unless you have an update.
No update.
Okay. All right, thank you. That moves us to the consent agenda.
Mr. Wirtz, I have 2 items I'd like to highlight, both in personnel. First, I'd like to reintroduce Dr. Jim Halleck to our district. Dr. Halleck is returning as the interim Needham principal from now until the end of the year as we move forward. He's unfortunately away tonight. He'll be previous to his re-engagement with us. They had a cruise scheduled, so they're ending their cruise, and they're going to be back tomorrow. But we welcome Dr. Halleck, and then you'll see his daily rate in the per diem with no benefits other than the daily salary. And then I am pleased to announce that we do have, we're recommending a new volleyball coach. Her name is Roxanne Chapman. Roxanne is presently living in London, England. Her husband works for Rolls-Royce and they're returning back. She does have 16 years experience at Plainfield and at Martinsville, where she did win mid-state conference titles, as well as compete in the state tournament. I know Ms. Woolridge, anything else to add about the new volleyball coach? We are looking forward to having her join us, and they did due diligence and checking references, and so we're pleased to have her. And then she does hold a teaching certificate in elementary K through 5, and she's also been a special ed preschool teacher. And so we are looking at some of those spots as we move forward, but this one is for her volleyball coaching. So we're recommending her tonight.
International recruiting now.
Everybody wants to come to Franklin.
Exactly. Our good to great journey continues.
Well, I would like to say a special welcome to Dr. Halleck. I know he's very special to this community, and I welcome him back personally. So.
And the last one, I'd like to just admin fringe benefits. If you remember during the master agreement with the FCTA, we went from 4 sick days to 6 personal days. And so we're just having the administrators addendum match the teachers. That's all that is a change. And actually, Dr. Hayden and I were talking about that, and he asked me about that. I said, yes, that should have been corrected a long time ago. So I apologize that it didn't come the same month that we did the CBA. So that's all that is.
I move for approval of the consent agenda.
Thank you. There's been a motion. Are there any questions or comments regarding the motion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify with the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Superintendent reports update on the school improvement goals.
I'm going to pull up the update on ISTEP first.
Okay, sure.
That you have in front of you. You only have 1 year of data. So if you remember, this truly is our baseline year with the new test. And as we all knew, the scores would drop as they did, you can see, for the entire state. So on this sheet, you have every grade level for math and ELA in every building compared to the state average for that grade level. And we are above state average in all buildings and all grade levels except 3. At Northwood in math, 3rd and 4th grade, we were below state average. And at Custer Baker, 6th grade ELA, we were below state average. That segues then into the update on our school improvement benchmarks and goals from last school year.
Deb,
remember
could
we
you
set-
magnify those, please, so that we could all see them a little easier? Thank you.
Last year, the buildings set their goals to score a certain percentage above the state average, and that was based on trend data from the previous ISTEP test. Most of the time, we did hit that goal, but there are some instances where we are a few percentage points below to many percentage points below. So the school improvement plans you're going to approve tonight, it's kind of silly, but they're this year's school improvement plans. So here we are headed, into ISTEP within a month, and we're just now providing to the state our school improvement plans for this year. One thing we did early in the year when we were finding out and learning more about the new ISTEP test was the coaches met with every teacher and every grade level and really did a lot of training on the depth of knowledge chart. I think we've talked about that in the past. And getting teachers to really dig into the rigor and to dig into that higher level thinking and start practicing the kind of items that students are going to see on the test from this point forward. So that is something we did in September before we even got the new scores back. So teachers have been working really hard in their PLCs and also in their district grade level meetings, talking about strategies, talking about resources that they can use to better prepare students. The principals also are prepared tonight if you have any specific questions about any of their specific benchmarking and goals.
I don't know that I have a specific question other than more of a generic process question. Do we understand the root causes associated with the ones that are well below where you wanted them to be? And conversely, excuse me, understand the whys of when the ones that are significantly above where you thought they would be. Do we understand those causal factors?
To the degree have we taken it through a very formal process, we have not. We've only had these scores about a month, but we have taken NWEA scores, we have taken DIBEL scores and other scores. And I think the buildings are in the process now of looking at these scores in addition to that to try to triangulate that data a little bit and then dive to that level.
Okay.
You guys have anything you want to add? So they actually were able to make goals this year that were based on this baseline data. So you'll see the goals in the new school improvement plans. Really, they have not changed much from last year because we're just now doing them, but we'll do them again in September, hopefully, and that's when you'll see, I think, some bigger changes. All we've really changed for this year are a lot of just the goal numbers and the goals. So if you want me to pull one up. They all look very much the same format we've used before, except with one exception, and that was the high schools. Early in the school year, the state was going to mandate we use a very specific process for everyone to do their school improvement goals. And it was, what's it called, Leah? Assist. And then they got some pressure from some folks and they backed off that and said, okay, for this year, you could really use whatever format you want. However, be prepared for the following year to use Assist. And the high school had done a similar process with NCA. So they decided to go ahead and pilot that process. So when you open up their school improvement plan, it will look a little bit different just in the formatting, but it's because they have applied this new process. Any question about school improvement plans?
I guess just one clarifying question for me is, I assume once you do that deeper dive that the goal isn't going to change, but does that affect your strategy of how you're going to improve that particular one item?
Absolutely. Okay. And all the schools are doing that with their RTI process, really digging down to the specific skills that are stumbling blocks for kids and providing interventions outside of the core curriculum or core instructional time to help students overcome those.
Thank you, and we'll come back and vote on those in a minute.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Mr. Doty, energy update, please.
Thank you, Mr. Wirtz. And I'm happy to present this 2015 utility data to you tonight. There's some exciting numbers in there that you'll see here in a little bit. But I have to say it's largely in part two guys that are the energy auditors, Jeff Bright and Ron Bailey. they do an immense amount of work throughout the school year and walking our buildings, and then also for all faculty and staff. They've done a great job of minimizing our lighting and HVAC systems of being left on, any water, plumbing leaks and all those things. They're fixed in a timely manner, and so that's you see the fruits of that labor here tonight, and it's some really great numbers. We're also reaping the benefits of a good year from a weather standpoint, and so you'll see that tonight as well. This first slide, what you have is just the executive summary. It just shows all the 4 utilities that I track. Obviously, electricity is our big user. You can see that there. And then when you look at natural gas, that cost per therm is down substantially than what it was 3, 4, 5 years ago. I think everybody would know that. You can just probably look at your own gas bill at home and see that drop in the price per therm. So being a part of that consortium that we are in, MEGA, Metropolitan Energy Gas Association, we've really taken advantage of hedging out, buying out natural gas over the past few years, and now we're seeing the benefit of that with that price point. This is my favorite slide. It's just raw numbers, but there you see the cost avoidance for 2015 at the bottom is $336,000, or almost $336,074. Sorry, and that's cost avoidance. Again, cost avoidance takes into account any weather changes, rate changes, and use changes in the buildings. And so I have a number here to read to you that's not on the slide. Our actual true dollar savings as compared to 2012 is actually $413,000. But because of the great weather, we can't attribute all of that savings and cost avoidance. So if we would have operated the same, if everything was the same 2015 as it was in 2012, we would have could have expected to spend $1,848,000. Does that make sense?
Yep.
That's where the numbers come from? Okay. So there you see the benefit of the cost avoidance program and reaping the benefits of some good weather and good gas prices. Another slide, 4-year comparison just in cost, and you'll see some things that we've done are evident here, and you'll see in a slide that shows our usage is in the summer months. You look at June, July, August, you look at the 2012, it's almost just flat lined up there. And you can really see where the benefit of having our scheduling done by Jeff Bright and some of these conservation measures where we're getting things shut off and turned back at night. Sometimes unplugged is really what we want to see happen with technology, and kudos to Matt and his staff for working with us and ensuring that if we can't unplug it, that it goes into sleep mode, and all those things are programmed into the technology that we have. So you see that dip in usage, and here in a little bit, obviously with cost, you'll see. Use avoidance, just another way to look at it. You can see there 2 things I would point out. Our high school and middle school, obviously, are 2 big buildings. It's going to use the most energy. And so we really want to hit those hard. And Ron Bailey, being a teacher here in this building and walking this building frequently and leaving those oops stickers for the staff, they get kidded a lot by those and some name calling, but it's all in jest, and we can see the benefit of that hard work. This is, again, the 4-year comparison just in use, and you can see there again how well we've done through 2015. And then finally, this last slide just shows you cost per square foot as compared building to building. And what's great about this, when you look at that a little closer, you can see from a school building to have the high school the type of building, the type of activities, the amount of activities that go on here, to have our high school below $1.50 a square foot, almost at $1.20 a square foot is outstanding. I don't have the numbers from every school in the state, every district. I don't know where I would find those numbers at, but I would wager any amount of money. I would put our building up against any high school in the state to hit that mark. That's how confident I am in that. Great job by everybody. So, and kudos to everyone. Good hard work. Happy to answer any questions.
Well done. Never been so excited about seeing utility bills.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Bill, it's really great performance, and hats off to the corporation, and thank you for your leadership there. I'm just curious that the energy profile executive summary there.
Yep.
We have an anomaly. It's really bizarre. If you look at your graph on the executive energy profile line chart, in May of 2014, you had a
I'm sorry. I'm
a
on the
very
wrong
unique
one.
spike anomaly.
Yep.
Do you know what that's caused from? Do you know what that is?
I do, and I should have researched that a little more. I did look at that at one time. We had, in 2014, we left some things on. That's a utility from electricity. The cost around the spring break time and moving forward, because you got to think of these bills, what you see in May, that's actually an April expenditure. And so we didn't get a good shutdown. And then also coming out of that, off of the heels of that, we felt like with the weather that was in there, and then I'm trying to go back in my brain to what happened, but the weather around that time frame, we were experiencing some mold in some schools, and we felt like to dry the buildings out, we wanted to leave the buildings on and not set them back at night. So we left things on. And so that's what explains that blip on the radar.
I'm just
there.
more curious, but
Yeah, that's what it was.
Overall, just really outstanding performance by the corporation, and contribute
Thank
that to your leadership.
Appreciate it.
Very good.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
On to action items. I knew I was going to stump on this word.
Materiality.
Thank you. I knew it. I even wrote it down here.
Yeah, I've come to know that term.
Thank you. I stumbled on it when I read it Thursday, and I even tried to practice it today. It tells you.
Well, we're in good shape. I think this may have actually emanated from some work the State Board of Accounts did with special ed co-ops around the state. But anyway, it has made its way down to us. And so as a result of some new state law that's in place, anytime that you have losses, shortages, or thefts in school corporations, the State Board of Accounts in state law now require that you do one of two things. You either set the limit at which you are required to report, or you don't set any limit, which means that every single loss, shortage, and theft has to be reported to the State Board of Accounts, anything from $1 on. And so you have in front of you today a materiality resolution that I am asking your approval to set that limit at $5,000. So anything at $5,000 or above, we would be required to report to the State Board of Accounts. Now, lest you think we wouldn't report anything beneath that, we likely would. Certainly would report it to you if we were to find something of a significant value that needed to be reported to you. But this just simply says we are not required unless you hit that $5,000 limit. So that is the resolution that I am requesting approval for today.
Move for approval.
Motion for approval. Are there any questions or comments?
Did we get any guidance from the state as to what that number ought to be?
We did. We have kind of batted around with a number of corporations, and I think most are kind of leaning that direction, Bill, where we're at.
I'm fine with that.
All right. All those in favor of the materiality resolution
Very good.
Thank you. Please signify with a sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Resolution.
Yes, this year we are required to distinguish between highly effective and effective teachers in the performance grant. And the legislative action required that it not be a bargainable entity between the CBA parties. So in the past, we have looked at effective and highly effective in our corporation very similarly. And there are many factors for that. One has to do with interrelated reliability. We look at different principals and different times of day and different classes and different experiences. For us to say those are all equal would be very hard to say, even when we do activities around that. Additionally, we look at collaboration. You're going to hear more about collaboration in just a little bit as a very significant guiding principle for us. And we believe that if we were to set a large amount separation between highly effective and effective, it could hinder teachers in wanting to collaborate. So therefore, I'm asking that the board pass this resolution stating that we will separate highly effective and effective teachers by $1. It does meet the letter of the law that's required, and I believe that it also marries our intent of moving all of our teachers together forward in a manner that is respected and respectful of what we're doing.
What have we done with our performance dollars in the past? Is that how we've done
Last year, they were dispensed by building, and then we met as a group and agreed through discussion that we would put all of them in a lump sum, and we did not have to distinguish between categorical levels. The only thing that we do have to distinguish is anyone that is in needs improvement or ineffective, their money actually goes back into the entire pot of money to be spent for all teachers.
Okay, so we're only distinguishing $1 between effective and highly
Yep.
effective, but there's a large distinguishment because the
Oh, yeah.
ineffective don't take part in it.
Ineffective do not receive a dollar. They do not get any raise. So like the 2% of the 2% plus $300, they did not receive that. That also went back into teachers as well.
Okay, good. Thank you.
And the teachers are in agreement with this. Okay. Right. I'm sorry, you said. All right. Has there been a motion? I heard it. I'm sorry if you didn't.
I'll move for approval.
Thank you. There's been a motion for approval. All those in favor of the motion, please signify with a sign of aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. It moves us to the school improvement plans, which
Just again have in front of you all of the school improvement plans for the 15-16 school year. We need to get approval tonight. They are due to the state 1st of March.
We approve them all at once.
We may.
I'll move to approve school improvement plans.
Thank you,
For-
Liberty.
For all the schools.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments?
I'll just make one comment. Thanks to principals for the hard work there. I tried to read one of them. And then I just looked at the executive summaries of all of them. And so I'm just being completely transparent here. That was, but thank you for that hard work.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion, please signify with a sign of aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to discussion items. Strategic plan update, Dr. Clendenning.
During the last 4 months, we've been gathering information from a variety of stakeholders looking at our guiding principles. In 2011 and 12, we went on a journey to establish a strategic plan for our district. We settled on 5 guiding principles. And at that time, we talked about individual student growth reigning supreme as the reason we exist as a corporation. But there are 4 other guiding principles that we felt would attribute to our success in getting to a great school district, and that was systemic continuous improvement, leadership, communication, and trust. And after meeting with teachers and parents, school board, we've come to the feeling that collaboration needs to be inserted in place of leadership. Because as we look forward in our district, we are striving to collaborate both horizontally and vertically. We're looking at trying to pull best practices and next practices together. And that's what we're about. Not everybody can lead. We want to have good leaders, but when we say leadership is a guiding principle, that'd be saying everybody's going to lead. Well, that's just not possible. And so we want to bring to the board for discussion this month, collaboration being inserted in place of leadership. Leadership then would be embedded in the activities of create opportunities for teacher collaboration, for example, in our PLCs, also in our students and what they're doing through their different activities and organizations to grow and lead, as well as support staff and as well as administrative team. So those are the areas that I think we'll see leadership dive down to enhance collaboration. So tonight, I would like to ask that we consider changing the strategic plan from the 15-16 school year through the 18-19 school year to insert collaboration in as a guiding principle and remove leadership. Are there any questions?
I think it's a great idea. I can't imagine it was the most important factor when we hired you. I don't know how we overlooked this as a guiding principle, and I appreciate your bringing it to our attention.
I will say that we've seen several examples tonight of a very strong leadership in a collaborative environment, and I think that the Webb School moving to an A and so many schools reach an A, and Mr. Doty's the school performance on energy. I certainly don't have a problem with moving towards that, and I think that makes a lot of sense. I just want to make sure that we don't forget that leadership really matters, and you've seen it tonight where leadership really does matter, and we want to make sure that we continue to grow and foster strong leadership, and so certainly that makes a lot of sense to me. But I just did want to highlight the fact that we are demonstrating some really strong leadership going on in the corporation.
And we do not want to lose that fact, because I would agree we have outstanding leaders within our group. Every day we get reminded in our district of things that are really going well. I'll give you an example. The state reached out to us this afternoon, and they're moving forward with promises and practices throughout the state to highlight the 2,000 years of Indiana, and they reached out to us with regard to our high ability programming and what we've been doing with that. And they're going to probably highlight the journey that we've been on over the last several years in collaboration and leadership around that. And there are many others that we could highlight. So we have great leaders. And you know what, this school district, with the teachers and the administrators and everyone rallying around, has really moved forward in our journey to good to great. And people talk about the things that we're doing, and I just want to say thank you to everybody that took part in that. I get to be superintendent, and I get to hear everybody say, "Man, that's great," but it's great because of everybody else that's here. So I just want to thank you that we can insert that collaborative environment into our guiding principles and still drill down to leadership.
Thank you. On to board and administrative comments. Math textbook adoption.
Yep, we are moving along. Tomorrow we have 2 groups coming in, 2 separate presentations, one at the high school, one at the middle school, from different vendors. So both of those folks hopefully will have decisions made by the end of the week. And then next week, we have 3 vendors coming in to do longer presentations, K through 6 will be here actually. So I'll bring to you next month our recommendations for discussion.
All right. Thank you. Chromebook update, Mr. Sproul.
We're excited about the next steps of one-to-one. As you know, we've deployed those at the middle school, and from what I can tell, that's going well, thanks to Mr. Ahaus and his hardworking team of teachers. Our next step is Custer Baker Intermediate School. By the gift of the RDC, they allowed us to go one-to-one at the middle school, but then allowed us to be also able to go to one-to-one at Custer Baker. We are making progress on that. We are going to be distributing those to the students one-to-one the week after I-STEP, so that'll be mid-March. A little bit different. I'm working with the administration at Custer Baker, Dave Beck. We're going to do it a little different. The students at the intermediate school will not take them home. They'll stay in the school each day. They'll pick them up in the morning and drop them off in the afternoon before they go home. This is with the intention of making sure that Chromebooks are well cared for, they're ready for class, and we're ready to take the next steps forward in using technology in the classroom.
Thank you.
Mr. Wirtz, there's one other that should have made the list that did not. I'd just like to give a quick update on the Needham principal search, if I may. Friday is the deadline to submit applications. To date, we have 47 applicants. We will have at least two rounds of interview process. Mr. Mercer is going to facilitate for the central office in this first round. We're having parent group and teacher group as well. Mrs. Moran will represent the elementary principals, and then Mrs. Holman, assistant principal at the middle school, will represent secondary as well as a parent on the Needham Elementary committee. We have 6 other parents as well, and so we'll collaborate, and we're planning to interview the last week in February, the second round probably a week after that, and then the timeline calls for the April meeting, the person to be announced to the community. I would recommend that we'll have an executive session to meet that candidate before that time with all of you as well. So that's where we are in the Needham search.
Curious, as a comparison, is that, in terms of the number of applicants, is that normal for
Actually, it's a little bit larger than what we've seen in the past, and it's a good number.
Is it because you're a great guy to work for?
I think that's it. I think
the school board is so great.
It is. You know, I think there's a couple factors. One, Needham's journey is well published. You know, from going from a D school district to an A school. And the energy around what they're doing. And then also the energy that's going on in the school district. I think people talk about what's happening and be a part of that. Obviously, I think we draw a lot of people. We have, internally, we have several people that have their admin license that are looking to that opportunity. We have some people outside. So I think it's a good candidate pool. Jeff and I were meeting the other day and just talking about that. It seems, you know, when we've looked at some other candidate pools, it's, you know, you don't see some richness in that. And I will tell you, it's a great pool. I'm excited both for our internal candidates and our external candidates to have a conversation about what the next steps are. So that's where we are with that. All
right.
Snow day makeup. Let me first talk about the bomb threat. As you know, I did apply for a waiver with the state of Indiana. I received word Friday afternoon that they denied our request for that. And so therefore, we will make up the bomb threat day, May the 24th. So there's actually no rhyme or reason, but that's where it would fall in our next available slot. And that is a records day, originally records day for us. So we'll insert another student day, and then records day will be the 25th. With that, though, that we are going to announce to our faculty tomorrow that if they go to the Google conference on April 16th and 17th, they could have off that records day at the end of the year because it's a weekend. So if they come to do the Google conference, then they would not have to do Records Day on May 25th. So they would get out the exact same day that they originally were planning. So that's what we're looking at with that. If we have a snow day this week, we will not make it up on February the 15th. We would add it to the end of the year. In past practice, we've always said that if it's within 1 week of that, because of family obligations and teacher obligations, it was not prudent for us to insert that snow day in. So therefore, we've eclipsed that. So we will be off school on President's Day, February 15th. On March 19th, we're having students from all over Indiana here at the high school for a Hoosier Student Digital Leaders Conference. We're trying to get one of the founding members of Google Expedition as the keynote speaker. And I know Matt's working on that. He lives in New York and he flies all over the place, and they're trying to connect to get him here. And also a little known fact, he's a Franklin Community High School graduate. And so that's pretty cool. So he's going to come and talk a little bit about his journey. And so I know Matt's working hard to try to pull that one off. Kindergarten registration is just around the corner. We were at Union today. We already have 16 Union kids signed up and ready to go. But we want to remind everybody that on April the 5th, we will be doing registration. Did you talk to that one person about it? Did you see it? Okay. Dr. Pettit was leading that, so we're going to actually have someone else step in and help us lead that. But April 5th, 4 to 7 at each of the schools respectively is kindergarten registration. And then I mentioned the Google Apps for Educators Conference, April 16th and 17th. School board, if you'd like to come for just a few minutes or to see what's going on, Matt's got some pretty cool things planned. He's working with the vendor. We're going to have GoPro giveaway. And we're going to do some things in and around the city of Franklin to highlight what's going on. We're going to have a drone flight in and around the school to highlight some activities with technology and that. So it should be a fun day. Matt, do we know who Google's bringing in as their keynote?
There's 3 keynotes. They're all available on the website.
They're all on the website. So April 16th and 17th, if you're looking for something fun to do, we welcome everybody. We're expecting over 600 to 800 participants this year.
Very cool. Any other board or administrative comments?
I just have one. The Indianapolis Business Journal has their 40 under 40, and there were 2 folks that have Franklin ties. One, Brooke Warland, her husband used to teach here, but from Franklin College, and her kids go to school here. And another one was Eric Richards, who is a Franklin High School grad. I have no idea when. He's probably in his middle 30s is my guess. And then a Franklin College grad was in the, obviously he's under 40 in the IBJ 40 under 40. So some good ties from Franklin that hit the IBJ list. So.
Thank you. Now it's time if there's any public comments.
Bus driver appreciation. Thank you. I was reading Mr. Doty. We do have Wednesday. This week is actually bus driver appreciation. On Wednesday, we're highlighting all bus drivers with some treats, and then the schools are saying thank you in a special way. But if you get a chance, if you see a bus driver, please stop and say hello and thank you. Just a reminder, I am riding a bus a week. I rode into Heritage last time, both in the morning or in the afternoon for middle school and elementary. And then we're kind of debriefing on kind of some things we can do to help. But we have great drivers, take a lot of care for our kids. And so we want to thank them for that. And that this week is the week to highlight them.
Without question. Thank you. Any other public comments? Please come forward. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Didn't see your hand back there. Yes. Thank you.
9 school records were set that day.
Wow. The next 3 years are going to be even more record-breaking than this one.
Wow. Thank you. Yeah, no, yes. All right. Any other comments? All right, thank you.
Move to adjourn.
All right. Thank you. Good evening.